Back here in the iHigh Sports Show on the iHigh Radio Network, where the semifinals are set for the National City Boys KHSAA Sweet 16. And what a semifinals day it should be on Saturday morning. Already we talked about Scott County taking on Covington Holmes with their wins in the quarterfinals. And the other two quarterfinal games to set the final semifinal bracket. Well, it's kind of like the old Rocky movies, where earlier in the day we had the Rocky 1 version of Adair County and Scott County, where the underdog gave the heavyweight champ all they could handle and more, busting them up and everything, but the heavyweight champ prevails, and there ain't going to be no rematch, so to say. And there ain't going to be no rematch because they can't play again. Well, in the first game of the ninth session of the quarterfinals, kind of like the Clubber Lang version of the Rocky movies, where you had the contender against the Rocky part, and in this case, Ballard and Clark County. Ballard being the Clubber Lang version, with Clark County being Rocky. I know there's no champions involved, but Ballard gave the knockout punch, so to say, in this one, as they outscored Clark County 31-7 in the second quarter to put this thing away early. Clark County never could mount a comeback after that. They got close there in the second quarter. At the start of the second quarter, within about 30 seconds, they cut it to 2 at 14-12. But then after that, Ballard goes on a 31-5 run the rest of the way to end the half, leading 45-17. They led by as many as 32 in the game and go on to win by 23, 71-48. Ballard moving on to the semifinals. There's nothing that Clark County could do, folks. Ballard shot 61% from the field in the first half and at least 70% there in the second quarter. And for the game, 32 of 58 from the field for 55%. And here's the story right here, too. Clark County 5 of 26 from the field in the first half, 19%, 13 of 50 for the game for 26%. And I don't care who you are, how good you are, because Clark County is a good team now. They beat the number 3 team in the state in the regional finals on their home floor in Mason County. And they beat a pretty good Christian County team who's back-to-back regional champions at 28-4 at the time. So they've got a good team, but they just could not stand this knockout punch that Ballard delivered to them in the second quarter, and they fall 71-48. We got comments from Coach Chris Renner. Let's see what he has to say about tonight's win and moving on.
Yeah, I think that that first half of basketball was maybe as good as we played this year. Going into the game, one of the key points of emphasis was rebounding. We talked a little bit about that after the first round game when we got out rebounded, and we really wanted to control the glass tonight, and we did that. I think at halftime we had probably a plus, 14 or 18 at rebound advantage, and we ended up out rebounding them by 12. And I really felt like that was a way that they could hurt us. Clark County's a great basketball team, and they've really come on late in the year. And I didn't have a chance to see them early, and I'm kind of glad because they're dangerous. Knowles is a tough basketball player. He plays the game with a lot of passion. The Jones kid was the one that really worried me going into the game because I thought he was going to manhandle us on the boards. But tonight was one of those nights I looked at our post players, Golson and Gowers in particular. They did a good job of keeping them off the glass. And then I know that Twani ended up with 8 rebounds. Johan had 4. So our guards came in and took care of the boards. And then offensively, we got good shots, and that was big for us. I think we shot over 50% from the field.
The final team to get into the semifinals of the quarterfinal round, they've been there before. They're back again. And with their kind of play and their kind of grittiness and toughness, they could give the Ballard Bruins all they can handle. And that's the Warren Central Dragons, as they got by a very determined bunch of Elliott County Lions, 92-76. Lots of offense in this one on both sides of the ball, on both sides of the floor. But Warren Central, once again, facing one of those Cinderella-type teams, facing Jim Buchanan the night before. Jim Buchanan got out 23-14 on them, and Warren Central came storming right back. Elliott County fell behind early, 9-1, 9-1. Early in the first quarter, and Coach Mays just let them keep playing. Well, they responded with a little 12-2 run of their own to go up 13-11. But after that, it was all Warren Central as they came back to win this thing 92-76. Warren Central moving on to the semifinals. At one time, they led by as many as 22 points in this ball game. But Elliott County would not go down as they cut it back to 15 at one time at 83-68. But that's as close as they would get in this one. It was over with really at halftime, 49-35, as Warren Central just kept building the lead into the third quarter. But give credit to Elliott. They never stopped playing. They never quit. It's a credit to their coach, credit to the program. And these are only sophomores, folks. They start 5 sophomores. And I got a feeling they're going to be back. And when they do, their first trip this year was memorable. Their next trip is going to be even more memorable with these guys because they could pull an upset and maybe get to Saturday morning. But right now it's Warren Central moving on. 92-76 winners in this one. And Warren Central again. Hot shooting on the night. Ballard was hot, shooting 55% from the field. But in this one, Warren Central shot 61% from the field, 39 of 64. First half, 21 of 35. Second half, 18 of 29. Great night for the Dragons. And we got Coach Tim Riley's thoughts about the game and about moving on and playing on Saturday morning against the Ballard Bruins. Here's what he had to say.
I think Ballard had like a 7, 8, 9 point lead to half, and they pulled out to like kind of 15 points, 16 point lead, and then we ended up being a 4-point game. We cut it. We had a chance to hit a 3 to knock it into like a 1-point game. Didn't make it, but I mean when it was over with, it didn't seem like a 4-point game. They kicked us, but I feel like they kicked us pretty good. But hey, we just gotta be better than Ballard tomorrow morning. 32 minutes, that's all we got to do. You don't have to beat them a bunch of times, you got to beat them tomorrow morning.
Finals are set. Saturday, March 24th, 10 a.m. Scott County Covington Holmes should be a classic. And in the bottom bracket, once again, another should be classic. 11:30 a.m. start time, probably around noon. The Ballard Bruins and the Warren Central Dragons. 2 great games. And we're going to have them for you right here on the iHigh Video Network. On podcasts, they're going to be delayed a little bit, not live, but you'll be able to watch them anytime you want, so make sure you tune in for that. So I'll have another piece of action here for you in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that as we'll talk about these semifinal games. So stick around for that. I'll be right back, folks.